What's up, YouTubers and Amazonians? My name is John Myer, and if you're interested in learning more about AWS Snow Family and its capabilities, then you're going to want to stick around because we're chatting with AWS VP of Technology, Bill Vass. Bill oversees more than 42 cloud, and our hot topic for today, edge technologies. From the AWS Snowcone, nope, not this one, to AWS Snowball, which has been battle tested, to AWS Outposts, providing you the power of AWS storage, compute, and more within your data center. Also, Wavelength and AWS Local Zones providing you single-digit millisecond latency. Before I bring Bill onto the show, if you're interested in seeing more content around YouTube, chatting with various Amazonians, and also our hot topic of OBS Ninja, don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and notification button. Let's get started. Please join us and welcome AWS VP of Technology, Bill Vass. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Hey, John, I'm happy to be here.
So, Bill, I'm going to jump right into it in our discussion today and start off talking about the AWS Snow Family. Okay. One of the things that pops into my mind is, and I really have to tell you, I enjoyed it a lot, is the Snowcone video that Jeff and you put together announcing its release back in June. You know what? How about we take a look at that video real quick?
That would be great. I'd love to see it again.
All right, let's do it.
Wow, my new Snowcone.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Jeff, guess what I got?
A haircut?
Yes, I did, but actually I want to talk about this new Snowcone. It's an edge processing computing device. It has data transfer and data storage. It's about the size of a tissue box.
Bill, I think you actually had me at edge computing.
It's got 4 gigs of RAM, 2 virtual CPUs, 8 terabytes of usable storage on there.
Awesome.
It runs green grass. It can act as an IoT gateway. It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Comes preloaded with data sync. Standard e-ink label on the front, so it automatically ships itself, which is pretty cool. It's got a USB-C for power and also a USB-C data port. So it's really quite flexible. And there's an optional battery pack that you can snap on the bottom.
Wow, okay. So some of our customers actually need to use these devices in pretty harsh environments. Is this a rugged device?
Yep.
Will it work in freezing temperatures?
Absolutely.
How about in the desert?
Yep, really hot environments, even like next to a welder, even when it's too hot to touch.
Could we take it to a research ship using a drone?
Yep, because it's 4.5 pounds, you can snap it right on a drone. In fact, we were using it today to create a 3D model for the best arrangement for solar panels.
Now, what about hospitals or industrial sites?
That also.
Tactical edge locations, transportation, logistics?
Yep, all of those.
All right, so the data and the device, they're both secure?
Just like a Snowball, the data is multi-layer encrypted, and so companies like Deluxe, for example, with their OneVision, can use it for secure movie distribution and feel secure about it in transit.
So it seems actually like this would be useful in a lot of places, the public sector,
yes,
defense, intelligence, and even disaster relief efforts.
Yeah, it does a whole bunch of things. It's great for lightweight analytics on the edge. It can act as an IoT hub, machine learning, where you're doing processing of data in real time. Ooh. It's got containers and EC2 instances on it, and it lets people connect to the cloud really easily.
So what's the difference between a Snowcone and a Snowball?
So the wonderful thing about Snowcone is part of the Snow family. So it has all of the rugged capabilities, all the security capabilities, all the shipping capabilities, all of those things, just like its bigger brother, the Snowball Edge. But the primary difference is, of course, size, weight, compute, those kinds of things.
So I think I got it. Small, rugged, portable, secure, and built to run outside of a data center. Is that about right?
Yep, and puppies like it.
How about that? Would this fit in my mailbox?
It can certainly do that.
Bill, my question to you is, what is it about the Snow family that makes it really exciting?
Well, it is an amazing little product for a lot of our customers and a big product for others, depending upon whether you've got the Snowcone or the Snowmobile or the Snowman racks deployed. So the big thing about Snowball is on the edge, a lot of our customers often are network challenged in some cases. And you sort of saw some of that in the video. Photogrammetry can pull in like 8 terabytes of data of my barn or something like that. And shipping that over the network, if you're just on a cable modem, can take a long time. And so it's a lot faster to send that in. For other customers that have a lot of bandwidth, the Snowball's not really the best solution for them. They can go directly to the cloud. But we have a lot of customers that are on ships and they're doing local processing. Snowball, the Snowcone specifically is designed to fit on a drone, as you saw in the video. And so you can use it for drone operations. It's also used for photo shoots and things like that. And Snowball is heavily used in the movie industry for photo shoots because, they're doing, 8K shoots and 4K shoots. And some even 12K shoots, which are like, the big format IMAX kind of shoots and things like that they're experimenting with in the early days. And that takes a lot of storage. And so they shoot them on the Snowballs and then ship them in. Also in the gaming industry, they do motion capture on them. But a lot of our customers are starting to do compute at the edge as well. So they run EC2 on it and containers and S3 and other things like that. And they're doing machine learning and filtering the data as it comes in. And the cool thing about Snowball, it's mobile. It's everything's multi-encrypted. It's very secure. It's very rugged. And it works in all those cases where you don't have a good IT environment. You don't have good air conditioning. In some cases, you may have seen some of the DoD 901 barge tests where they survived explosive charges. If you're Navy, so for things like that, using on Navy ships and on aircraft, they can be airdropped. You do need a parachute if you airdrop them, but you can airdrop them. They can handle the G's from that. So for mining companies that need to work in really rugged locations, or oil and gas companies, it's a great product to bring the cloud to the edge, where you have random connectivity, poor physical environments, and that you're collecting and processing a lot of valuable data that either you want to ship back to the cloud or act on locally.
You know what was interesting is seeing that snow cone and you actually picking up there. I thought, man, I want to order one of these just to say, hey, listen, I got one here. I think that's really cool. How one, you guys introduced it in the video, and now this next thing of the Snow Family, I saw that it can be airdropped, and I was really curious about that one. I'm glad you specified it and uses a parachute, but I love the ruggedness of it. But one of the things that you mentioned was, did you say a Snowball rack?
Yeah. So they're designed to be rack mountable. So there's a few specifications that we had to work within on Snowball. So one specification that was harder than you think is that it has to be under 50 pounds. 50 pounds is OSHA standard for one person liftable, and all common carriers can carry it, and you can check it as luggage without paying an overweight fee. And customers do all of those things. The next requirement was that with a standard rack shelf, it would fit in a standard 19-inch rack. So you can put 8 of them in a standard rack. That gives you, on the Snowball Edge Compute Optimized, about 43,000 GPUs, 800 gig of networking, about 416 x86 cores that you can work with there, and up to 8 terabytes of redundant storage. And then we have Ops Hub, which you can also go link a video to, which lets you run on Chrome, on any Chrome supported device, and you can connect to it and manage the Snowballs locally without any connection at all to any network at all. And they have their own storage. You do need to have some way to connect and pull down the manifest and the key, because the Snowballs have 2 keys on them that are TPM protected, but then the third key comes from you, so there's never all the keys on the device in shipment. And you can also do CloudFormation templates, build your EC2 instances you want to have run on it, and then manifest them to the Snowball and ship them on site and use those there. So it's a lot of flexibility for our customers, a lot of performance. 100 gig networking, one Snowball can have 5,300 GPUs, high-end enterprise class GPU card, and it'll operate at minus 53 degrees and positive 140 degrees without any air conditioning. There's an optional 6-micron filter that snaps on the front, so you can use it in high dust locations. They're rated for hurricane force wind and rain infiltration and wave infiltration. You can't submerge them, though. That is one limitation. They're not designed to operate underwater, and so you can have them on the deck of a ship. You can have them in a tent. You can have them. They're heavily used for disaster recovery sites and things like that. And FEMA uses them. It's a very great product, both for moving data and processing data and using on site. It gives you a lot of flexibility.
Wow, I'll tell you what, all the specifications, all the actual things that went into this are mind-blowing because, I did my research, I looked at it, I read everything that you talked about, I read, but it didn't put it in perspective of you actually telling me all the things it can do above and beyond. And I hate to point out, the one thing that I was like thinking about here was, wait, you can have this as carry-on luggage? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Well, not carry on. Most people check it, right?
or check luggage, but
you don't have to. You don't have to though have an overweight fee, right? Because it's under 50 pounds, and then the labeling systems are integrated with multiple carriers, so you can choose your different carriers, whether it's FedEx or UPS, or for the military, this is integrated with Transcom. This is actually so secure; it's rated for shipping top secret compartmented data impact level 6, which is the highest security rating that exists. Period. Bar none. So banks have used it to move data. You can use HIPAA data on it, PCI data. It's got that rigor of security capabilities on it.
wow, I did not realize all the stuff that went into these and how powerful they are and how well they're used and secure about that. I mean, that's really amazing that we put together this awesome product that's being used. I think the security is probably the first thing that comes to my mind. And then the durability, the ruggedness, and then everybody that's using it and where you can use it, the utilization. I mean, you thought about the microfilters in the fronts for the dust. I don't know of many people that thought about that. And I think that really takes it to the next level, takes it up a notch there for those who are using it. Maybe it's out, you talked about our military. So maybe it's out in, like a dust area or, out in the desert. That's totally mind-blowing there.
Yeah. The other thing too is a lot of people is the e-ink label and the ruggedized in a device case and those things like that. Those are actually security features. When you do lots of copies, you're moving a lot of data. If you're putting disks in boxes, there's a chance you could put them in the wrong box or put the wrong label on them. The Snowball labels itself, and it is its own box. So those are two other layers of security. The ink label isn't just for convenience; it's actually a security feature. As much of what we do at AWS, we always do security first. That's our number one thing we do before anything: security, scalability, operational excellence, and then everything else. And we have to build everything because we run the intelligence agencies and others clouds at that high. We're the only cloud provider that since 2014 that's been certified for SCI level 6+, highest in the industry. All of our products have to go through that certification, and they're the same products on the commercial side as we run for those customers. We've never had a customer say we want less security. And that really makes a difference for our customers, and these kind of capabilities just sort of extend the full portfolio that we look at the edge. Where this also acts as an IoT hub. You can take a look at another video you can link to, which is SiteWise, where I'm using this in my house to hook up the sensors all over my house. It acts as an IoT hub. Greengrass is built into this, so you can use it for IoT devices on factories and those kinds of things. And our SiteWise Edge runs on Snowball as well, so you can have a manufacturing control system running on the Snowball in your factory floor. Factory floors often don't have good air conditioning and IT environments. They often have dust and water and all those kinds of things, and the Snowball is specifically built for those kinds of things. And it's much cheaper than other, say, ruggedized servers or custom servers that are designed for rugged environments. Again, with the Snowballs, you can rack mount them, so you can have eight in a rack. These have a nice little, they're a nice form factor. They're used also for driverless cars, simulators, and things like that to collect all the data. They sit in the trunk of the car and collect the data that get pulled in future simulation. They're used for pulling in data for digital twins and doing caching and machine learning on them, collecting video data. It's a very flexible product. And the cool thing is it's got the same APIs, same EC2 instance of the same things that you expect in the cloud, so your app can run here and in the cloud.
You know what? I didn't realize all the uses for not only the Snowcone and what they're being used for. The IoT devices, the autonomous cars, having it in the trunk and collecting all that data. Here, I just assumed it was constantly sending back, but that's a lot of data being traversed. Here, it's being stored locally and secure and rugged. I mean, that's actually amazing on how it's being used and what area it's being used.
Yeah, yeah. Each car run is about 40 to 50 terabytes of data, and they do it. They have multiple cars running at the same time, and it just you can't stream 40 or 50 terabytes over 5G very easily or 4G very easily. It gets very expensive, and so the other thing that you can do is you can run the machine learning models or scale director models right here on it, and you can use it to filter away things that you're not interested in, so you can optimize that data also.
Oh, wow. Actually, I work a lot with AWS Deep Racer, so you're kind of talking a little bit of my language there, and the machine learning models right on the device itself and filter. That's actually amazing. All the usage for it. I was just thinking one or two things here. I mean, you're just naming a ton of uses that I probably haven't thought of. And there's probably so much more that our customers are using it for that we're not aware of too, which is pretty cool to find out and hear about some of those things.
Yeah. A number of customers are using them as geospatial servers. So they actually have satellite data coming down onto it and drone data coming out to it that they're serving up. And so they're running, advanced mapping with the GPUs and all that stuff, and imaging and rendering right on the device, sort of in real time as the data comes in. And then they collect it over a period of time, and every few months they ship them back. And then those become their long-term archives, right? So there's a lot of different use cases for these, and they're designed, of course, to work seamlessly with Outpost and seamlessly with our IoT systems. And you mentioned Deep Racer is built on RoboMaker. That's another one of our edge devices, our edge capabilities, designed to work seamlessly with those as well. As sort of, as we build this sort of centralized control and decentralized execution, this seamless edge to cloud environment that we're building out. This also, of course, runs Greengrass, as does Deep Racers and stuff like that. And so Greengrass also allows you to do the local machine learning models, operate containers and Lambda functions and things like that right on the device, along with Stream Manager, which allows you to manage communications, and Secrets Manager, which allows you to manage secrets on the device as well. So it's a very flexible component.
You know what? I'm amazed about all the usage here. You mentioned something for a lot of the devices there, AWS Outposts. So I'm going to jump to that one because Outpost, when it was originally announced, it kind of touched home with me coming from a traditional sysadmin background of actually being in a data center, racking and stacking servers. So Outpost was a huge spark. I'm like, oh my God, I got to learn more about this and dig into this. And do you want to start touching a little bit on what Outpost is and, how it came about and how we're utilizing it?
Yeah, so it's interesting to see how things evolve. So we started the Snowballs, for example, primarily to transport data. We just had so many customers say, it's too hard for me to get all my data into the cloud. The network's too slow. I have intermittent network. I need a secure way to ship data to you. And, it's really sloppy shipping just disks or tapes or those kinds of things. And we wanted to automate the encryption and be very secure, automate the shipping, all those kinds of things, and make it really easy for customers. Then customers said, okay, I love this thing. I want to do compute on it in AWS locally. So we added, that's where Snowball Edge came from. So you can do edge compute, and you have the ability to do edge and process and those kinds of things. And then people started putting them in racks, and then they came to us and they said, well, we love this, and we love it when we need to ship it, but I've got a number of places where I'm dealing with, the three laws, which we always talk about. So the law of physics, the law of economics, and the law of the land, right? Those are the three laws you deal with at the edge. So the law of physics is I'm controlling a robotic system, and I need the super low latency of local processing for my process control systems or my IoT or my robotics or whatever. Or maybe I'm still working in a hybrid world, and I've got a bunch of storage devices on-prem and some things I'm running on-prem, and I need local latency processing between that, right? So that's where the law of physics comes in. You can't overcome the speed of light, at least not yet, okay? Then the next is just the law of economics. As I mentioned, the cost, if you can imagine, if you had 8 terabytes, which is what this is stored, collected on a drone, and you want to ship that from way out in the middle of nowhere over transponders on a satellite, that's going to cost you a huge amount of money. And so the law of economics come in. And then there's a lot of places that have data residency requirements, and that's where the law of the land comes in. And that's why, for example, we have S3 on Outposts and things like that. So customers said to us, love this idea of having AWS extended locally. What I'd really like, but I've got a need for ruggedized, but also I want to put these in areas that I have good IT environments for, and I'd like something more dense because this takes up space. All of this, this impact, all these things take up space, and so from this we started with this idea. Well, how could we offer a rack that's an extension of AWS locally and doesn't just have a subset of AWS services that are API compatible, has the ability to access all of AWS if you're connected. But handle those low latency problems and a greater density in a data center. And that's where Outposts came from, right? And so we have, of course, 1 and 2U Outposts now and the full rack as well. And it effectively extends the VPC from our availability zone into your on-site environment. And it looks to us, if you like, as if it's part of the availability zone. And it looks to you that way as well. And you can deploy to it and operate on it, manage it, and all those kinds of things locally through AWS. And it solves the latency issues that people have or the data residency issues that people have. And that's sort of where we got to from that. But it's much more dense than a Snowball, right? Because it doesn't need to be able to be parachuted out of an airplane or survive an explosive charge or have water dumped on it, right? But it did carry over many of the Snowball's encryption and physical security features as well. There's anti-tamper features and other things like that we learned from Snowball and have enabled there, and some of the control systems and others that we've learned from Snowball. And we continue to integrate these in together, and they'll get more and more integrated and more seamless as we move forward. So that's where Outpost is. And then Outpost has also allowed us to do things like Wavelength, where now we're putting the Outposts in the 5G towers, and 5G gives very low latency. And so now customers can deploy to the 5G towers and do things like you can run RoboMaker from a 5G tower over 5G and offload a lot of the robotics processing to the Wavelength processor, or you can use it for gaming. That's one of our services as well. So the ability to do mobile gaming and stream the game and to have very low latency processing between the tower, between the hub and the person connecting to the tower. It just gives you, again, this is all about this seamless edge to cloud, whether it be IoT, robotics, or like Kinesis Video, all of these little Wise cameras run on Kinesis Video. 5 lines of code. You can turn a camera, start streaming data. 5 lines of code like that. We converted over to Kinesis Video 18,000 cameras in our data centers in 3 weeks, saving hundreds of millions of dollars of managing those on-prem DVRs and all that other stuff, or NVRs we used to manage, right? And it just goes straight to the cloud, and you can run machine learning on it. We've got a Lookout for vision and Panorama, where you can run machine learning and turn these little cameras into $25 camera into very advanced IoT sensors, where they're sensing defects on a conveyor belt, they're sensing vibrations, they're sensing smoke, they're sensing just a whole range of things. They can warn you, a car just came into your car.
Just on those cameras alone?
Yeah, you can do it you can do that, but you can do it on any camera, right?
That's actually pretty cool. What did you say? It was $25, 5 lines of code. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I didn't mean to interrupt there, but just blowing my mind here. First of all, Outposts, when you were talking about that and how it came about, I love how one service builds on another service and kind of really gets your mind flowing there. I did a blogger chat with Mylon Thompson back in September, and right around that time, S3 was announced on Outpost.
Yeah,
and I absolutely love that. That's a huge benefit there. And then you're talking about wavelengths, and what do we have, like 12 locations, or coming to 12 locations for that one?
Yeah, that's just rolling out. And I think that just gives, again, it's all about flexibility for our customers in deploying the cloud, pushing out to the edge, and back to this centralized control and decentralized execution. So you can go in and manage it all from AWS. We've also done things like, a lot of people don't realize that, CloudWatch will run anywhere right now. You can run the CloudWatch agent on-prem and in the cloud. You can do CloudFormation now on-prem. You can deploy on-prem with CloudFormation. A system manager can run on-prem and in the cloud, right? And on Outposts and all these places. So config will do the same. So you've got the ability to do your governance and management, deployment, development from the edge to the cloud, centrally managed and decentralized execution. And so you can choose where you want to do your execution as well. And that just is the flexibility. And the other thing is, like with Snow and Outpost, you don't buy a server that the day you buy it, it's already capital depreciated and obsolete, right? The hardware is automatically refreshed. As you get new snowballs in the mail, they're automatically getting updated over time, just like servers are in the cloud. So there's no reason to have that big CapEx expense that's just depreciated and is obsolete once you receive. By the time you finish procurement on a server, it's usually obsolete. Except for AWS, where you just go click and start an EC2 instance, and you've got the latest and greatest. So it is a transformational change, and really democratizes IT in a big way.
Yeah, I remember those days. By the time you got the server, 6 months later, you got it racked. It was way obsolete. Yeah. I completely remember those days and the functionality. So, Bill, before we wrap things up, the last thing I want to talk about here that we mentioned, or you and I were talking about, is AWS Local Zones. You want to give us a little bit of information on that?
Yeah, so Local Zones basically just, one of the big, again, things I love about AWS, I like to do everything in threes. We do 3 layers of encryption. We do 3 availability zones. So AWS, when we say region, it's always 3 buildings that are 10 to 60 kilometers away from each other. And the reason we choose those numbers, an F5 tornado is 5 to 10 kilometers wide. So you don't want buildings across the street from each other. You don't want your data centers on 2 floors of a building. You don't get any durability if you do that. So you should be scared if your provider puts everything in one building, right? I would never do that.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, all right. So we spread it out 10 to 60 kilometers between the buildings, and we replicate the data multiple times and stripe it across all those buildings and the nodes within those buildings, which we have separate nodes within each building as well. And that gives you very, very, very high durability, right? And the ability to do that in those availability zones, and the ability to have one availability zone and things can fail over, and you can move things between regions and replicate between regions, and those are moving from 3 buildings here to 3 buildings there, right here as well. Now, again, back to those laws of physics, though. You still going to have some instances where maybe you're doing really advanced video editing in the movie industry, and you want to have local processing that's very fast and near you, but you don't want to have a data center, right? Because again, friends don't let friends build data centers, right? So you don't have a data center. So in those places where we see that demand, like for example in the LA area, we have a local zone there that's used by the movie entertainment industry, so they can do virtual desktops and very high speed editing right there locally. And again, it's an extension it goes back to a region. So it's another availability zone on a region, extended the fabric locally there, where we manage the servers in those environments so you don't have to. And so that's one of the big advantages. But again, this gives you sort of the cloud. You also have POPs. We have POPs everywhere where you can run Lambda functions and things like that, which are CDNs and things like that. You've got these local zones. You've got wavelengths. You've got the outposts that you can put places. When you have mobile environments, you've got snowballs, right? And then you've got the software infrastructure that runs on devices like Greengrass and FreeRTOS and other things like that, and RoboMaker for drones and autonomous systems and driverless cars when you're doing those areas. And you've got Kinesis Video for all of the cameras in the world. This also does radar, and Kinesis Video does radar, LiDAR, and video. Any frame time series data it can ingest, right? And we've got, Kinesis to do all the streaming. We've got IoT to connect it all together. We've got, the management tools to manage it end to end. It really is filling out to do this nice end-to-end infrastructure for our customers.
That is actually pretty cool. And talking about all these edge services, Bill, I think we could probably do a whole episode or show on each one.
Oh, absolutely.
And everything. I mean, this is amazing. I think we could talk probably for hours on this. I really enjoyed the conversation. Now, everybody, this was just to give you I don't want to say a small glimpse, because Bill really dive deep here on the edge services and technology, and I really appreciate it, Bill. I want to thank you for your time and bringing us some of the exciting information around AWS services and features, and I look forward to doing multiple of these in the future with you. So I really appreciate your time on this.
Absolutely. And everybody, thanks for taking the time to watch. It's new things coming out every day on AWS. That's one of the things that's exciting about working here. Thanks for all our customers for being such great partners in working on this innovation with us together.
Speaking of partners, I want to give a shout out to my partner, Turbot, who is service ready. Outpost service ready was one of the few that had it done right before reInvent. All right, Bill, as always, thank you so much for this. And I look forward to doing more of these with you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.